Good morning, everyone. It's Julie at the Paper Bag Lady 1, and this is a very exciting day. I mean, very exciting day. So, my friend Zio, who I met on YouTube, who is Zio Pre-K 202, is from Chicago, and she is going on a field trip as a chaperone with the older kids at the school where she teaches, and they are coming to Gettysburg, which is like 45 minutes away from my house. Oh, so that's so close. It's like no big deal to drive there at all. So I am driving down this afternoon to meet up with her. I'm so excited to meet her. And also go on a tour of the battlefields with them. Now, I have been to Gettysburg like a gazillion times in my life because I grew up in this area here. But I've never gone on an official battlefield tour, like with a guide and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so anyway. So since I'm going to see Zio today, of course I'm taking her a bunch of yummies. And I made her this junk journal. I showed, the last video I did was paper bag album, book themed albums for my daughter's teachers. And I said I wanted to do it more as a junk journal form. So this was my attempt at it. And I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. There are things I would tweak if I was going to make them to sell them. Also, in this one, I have both children's books, like a whole section on children's books, and then on regular books, which I probably wouldn't put both in. But since Zio is a preschool teacher, I thought children's books would certainly be appropriate, but I wanted to put the other ones in. So anyway, let's just get right down to it, and I will show you what I did. So this is the junk journal. It is 7 by 9 3/4. I actually used the covers from an old, what do you call it? It's a memo book. It's like composition book. It's one of these, only the big kind. So anyway, so that's what I used as the base. And I used book rings. These are large, they're like 2 inches. I would have preferred to do the 1.5. I think they're 1.5 inch rings, but the book was just a little too fat and I couldn't bear to take anything out. So anyway, so I used the book rings. I've tied some trims on it, including Zio's favorite trim in the whole wide world. And I used, the paper that I used is the Safari Chic stack from Die Cuts with a View. And Zio loves Africa. She has been to, I think it's Swaziland, several times, and she has a nonprofit with that. So I wanted to use that kind of paper. So anyway, so here we have Zio's Book of Books. And this is just some black burlap. And these letters are from, I think, a basic gray letter sticker set that's as old as the hills. I've had it for years and years and years. And then these are just letters from a children's game, and I honestly don't remember which game. I think it might be Pit? Not the card game Pit. I think there's, or Dig. Maybe it's called Dig. Anyway, it's a children's game. So anyway, and then, oh, here on the corners, I used these little corners that I got from Mo at Butterbee Scraps in her Zibbet store. I'm not sure. I don't believe these are still available anymore. I think she might have other book corners right now, but anyway, these are the ones she used to carry. So I used those on the corners there. Let's go inside. Of course, it's filled with quotes, all kinds of quotes. It's a little more burlap. And then here's the first section, which I used these, here, let me show you, because I don't remember what they're called. Here it is. Easy Index tabs, which as you can tell are pretty old, and they came with these letters, and whoops, and they're just these tabs, which I believe probably in their original life you took this off and it was sticky, but it's not sticky anymore because they're so old. I got this at an antique mall once. So anyway, so I used this here, and then I just wrote. So this first section is children's books. We go inside, we have a quote about children's books, and then instead of making big file tabs for each section in here, I just took bits of the paper and folded it over to make a little pocket and then labeled them. So the first one is just for my favorite children's books. And she can write on the library card or on the papers throughout, however she wants to do it. If she just wants to make a list of the books here and maybe talk about them on the papers, whatever. I'd love to see what somebody does with this. So there's my favorite children's books. And of course we have some pages. That's from a Dick and Jane. And that's from Raggedy Ann. And these little pretty library cards are printouts from Seneca Pond Crafts, which is she has a site, Seneca Pond Crafts, but I believe she's also on Etsy, eBay. I don't know where all else she is, but I love her printable images. Like, I have a file on my computer full of them because I just keep buying them because they're so awesome. So these are ATC sized. So anyway, that's what those are. More papers. The Berenstain Bears. It says book with Big Bird. Oh, the little red caboose. I love that. Here's some music paper. And from the Velveteen Rabbit. I love the Velveteen Rabbit, and I cut out the page with about my favorite thing from the Velveteen Rabbit, which is real isn't how you were made, said the Skin Horse. It's a thing that happens when a child loves you. It takes a long time. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair's been loved off. You get loose in the joints and very shabby. Does it hurt? Asked the Rabbit. Sometimes, said the Skin Horse, but when you are real, you don't mind being hurt. Anyway, I love the Velveteen Rabbit. Okay, so moving on, here we have my favorite children's book authors. And here's some more library card printables, also from Seneca Pond Crafts. These are just the standard larger library card size. And as you can see, I use washi tape to attach a lot of these things, and a lot of this washi tape I think is Recollections, but I think there might be some Tim Holtz, and I think there's another kind in there too that I can't recall. Anyway, so moving on, favorite kids authors. This is a page of a book from Beverly Cleary. Right, of course, because the authors. Here's from a children's dictionary, and we highlighted the definition of author. Here's Lucy Maud Montgomery, who wrote the Anne of Green Gables series. She's definitely one of my favorite authors. And here's the page from Beverly Cleary. And my favorite children's book series. Oh, Trixie Belden. She's my all-time favorite when I was a kid. I have all the Trixie Belden books except for 2. There are 39 of them. I own 37, and the only reason I don't own numbers 38 and 39 is because by the time they were published, Trixie wasn't so popular anymore, and I believe they were only published for a very short time, so they're pretty rare, and they're pretty pricey every time I've looked them up. But if anybody's ever flea marketing or yard sailing and you find Trixie Belden number 38 or 39 at a good price, please think of me, because I would be forever grateful. Anyway, Trixie Belden. And here's a playing card from Harry Potter playing card game. The Bobbsey Twins, another series I loved. And this is from Nancy Drew. Who doesn't love Nancy Drew? And this is a bookmark from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from the Chronicles of Narnia. And I have to tell you, I cannot for the life of me remember who sent me these bookmarks. I thought maybe it was Zio herself, but I'm not positive. So if you sent them to me, thank you, because look, it's perfect in this album. And there's a page from an Anne of Green Gables book. My favorite children's book illustrators. Now, I don't know a whole lot about children's book illustrators. I don't have a lot of children's books. I wanted to go to the thrift store and see if I could find some children's books that came to mind when I thought of the drawings and stuff. But I have a challenge going on with my friend Paula about not shopping. And so I gritted my teeth and I just found images online and printed them, which I hate because the purist in me says you use real books for the rest of the album, but not this, but I had to let it go. So anyway, here's, I don't know if the guy who did this is from Where the Wild Things Are, I think. And I don't know if he is a popular illustrator, but I do love the illustrations in there, so that's why I put that one in. This is just an inside page from, I think, one of the Bobbsey Twins books. Oh no, Michelangelo broke. I'll have to glue him down. This is an old, what you call it? Old Maid card. And I put that in there because he's an artist, Mike Angelo, which kind of funny little play on words. But because we have illustrators, they're artists, so we put that in there. And, oh, Peter Rabbit. I love the illustrations that Beatrix Potter does. And then this was just one that showed up when I searched popular children's books illustrators. So anyway, my favorite children's book characters. Who the characters? Another one of those cards. Here is a page from a Nancy Drew book. Very old one. Oh, Curious George. We loved him. Here is the definition of character, and a bunch of that, but here's the one for in a book or a play, so we highlighted that. Anne of Green Gables, she was one of my favorite characters. When I was in the 5th grade, we had to dress up like a book character, and then talk about the book as though we were the character. This is who I did. Now, if you have seen me, you know I have very, very short very dark hair. So my mother made me a red wig out of yarn. I played with that thing for the longest time. Anyway, okay, and here's a page from Trixie Belden. Okay, my favorite fairy tales, fables, and nursery rhymes. I love nursery rhymes. So here's a page from a Mother Goose. And this, my friend Allie had sent me this pack of children's themed journaling type tags, and I thought this one that said Once Upon a Time was perfect. There's a book cover from Mother Goose. Here's the Emperor's New Clothes. Here's another little playing card, Little Miss Muffet. Old King Cole was a Mariel, and Humpty Dumpty. Oh, I hate Humpty Dumpty. Always hated Humpty Dumpty. Look, you're getting all these stories about my life in this video. When I was little, I had this nursery rhyme book. I don't think I told this story before. I had a nursery rhyme book. And when we got to the pages with Humpty Dumpty, I would scream and scream. And Humpty Dumpty was pretty big on the page. And so my dad had to cut duct tape in an oval and put it over Humpty's head so that I wouldn't freak out. Anyway, okay. And we have my favorite picture books, because Zio is a preschool teacher, so I'm sure she has lots of picture books. This is the one I wanted to go find at the thrift store. I see those all the time, but I couldn't. And Goodnight Moon. Dr. Seuss, of course. Now we move on into the big people book section. So the first section is on fiction. We have a book cover from A Prayer for Owen Meany, which is one of my all-time favorite books. That would go on my top 3 list. We have a page from Tom Sawyer. No, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Here's a page from Owen Meany. And we have nonfiction. And in here we have pages from a history book. And then here's a page from an encyclopedia, which I guess I don't really have a whole lot of nonfiction books, except things like textbooks. Like I have a lot of math books and things like that because I like numbers. So I thought I'd put this in because it certainly is nonfiction, and Zio is a big fan of Africa. Here we have the classics. Here, this is the back page from a book cover. So we have classic books. Here we have little playing cards that spell out read. Alice in Wonderland pages from. And Shakespeare, of course, a classic. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. Okay, favorite authors. Here we have the definition of... Actually, it's not a definition. I lied. I have this awesome book. Look at this. We sold tickets at for our dance recital last weekend, and they had some books that had been donated. They're selling them 3 for $1. My husband found a Donald Duck book, so I had to find 2 more books to make up the $1. So look at this, the Synonym Finder. Look at that awesome book. It's just full of words. Full of words. I love it. So anyway, so I looked up the word author. So here's all the synonyms for author. And here's some cards from the game authors. We have Washington Irving and Louisa May Alcott. And then here's a page about Jane Austen. And then we have miscellany, which is, we have the worst books I've ever read. And this is just a page from a book. I think it's called The Old Goat. And I thought, I got it because I really liked it, the title, and I thought it would be really fun to use the book cover that says that on it for something which I've not gotten around to. But usually I pull out pages from that because I think it can't possibly be a very good book. And if it is, I apologize. But anyway, so there she can list that. Here we have her favorite poetry and poets. I love poetry, so I had to put this in here. Here we have a page from an Edgar Allan Poe book, it's The Raven. And then finally here we have books I want to read. This is from a smash pad, so she can make a list of things she wants to read. And finally, at the very end, we have the 3 books I couldn't live without. She can list those on there. And then back corner, we also have these little corner things here again. We go to the back, and we have a good book has no ending. So that is my creation for Zio that I will be taking to her today. I hope that she likes it. I had a great time making it. Like I said, if I make these for craft shows, I don't think I'm going to get quite as involved or quite as fat. But it was good to play around and see how it worked and how I liked it. So, anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Oh, I was going to tell you about my challenge with my friend Paula. Okay, so I've decided that I have too much stuff. I mean, like way, way, way too much stuff. So Paula said we should do something. We should challenge ourselves not to shop. So... and we could sort of set our own parameters. So here are my parameters. And I'm telling you this so that you can keep me honest. If you see me showing up telling you that I've shopped. So I am not allowed to shop for new product until I produce 25 albums. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but remember, I sell these, I make them all the time. Honestly, it's not like it's going to take me a year to make 25 albums. It'll probably take me a couple months. So anyway, so I cannot shop until I've made 25 albums, or I'm going to count junk journals, that sort of thing, in with it. The exceptions to this are if I need anything like adhesives, or let's say I need craft cardstock and I'm out, that kind of thing. Usually I have enough colors that I can work around it, but if I need something like that, I'm allowed to shop for it. If I have an order, like I have an order for a wedding album, I have to go shopping for paper for that. That doesn't count. I'm allowed to shop for orders. I'm also allowed to shop for things like trims and doilies for my Zibbet store, because that's not stuff I keep, I sell it. And when I get my hair cut once a month, I'm allowed to go to my favorite thrift store, and I have a $10 spending limit. Because if you find things there, you might never see them again. But I can only spend $10 unless it's things for the Zibbet or gifts for other people, because I do sometimes pick things up there for other people. So that is what I have to do. Paula's is completely different. She made up her own thing, and that's fine. But here's the thing. If I cave, if I go shopping, what I have to do is fill a large flat rate priority box and send it to somebody. Like I have to de-stash from my stash here, and I have to send it to somebody. Not Paula. Like we can't just swap stuff. So that's my challenge. Yeah. So I will keep you abreast of how that is going. We will see how that goes. But otherwise, yeah, I hope everybody has a great day. I know I'm going to have a great day. I'm so excited. It is now 10 o'clock, 5 hours. In 5 hours, I will meet her. So I'm very excited. So thanks everyone for watching. I'd love to hear what you think. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye.